Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and welcome to Pinduoduo's fourth quarter and full year 2021 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. There will be a presentation followed by a question-and-answer session, at which time, if you wish to ask a question, you will need to press star one on your telephone. I must advise you that this conference is being recorded today. I would now like to hand the conference over to your host for today's conference, Mr. Chen. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Chen, and I will help host the earnings call. Pinduoduo's earnings release was distributed earlier and is available on our website at investor.pinduoduo.com, as well as through global newswire services. Before we begin, I would like to refer you to our safe harbor statement in the earnings press release, which applies to this call, as we will make certain forward-looking statements. Also, this call contains discussion of certain non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to our earnings release, which contains a reconciliation of the non-GAAP measures to GAAP measures. Joining us today on the call are Chen Lei, our Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Liu Jun, our VP of Finance. Lei will make some general remarks on our performance for the past quarter and fiscal year 2021, and our strategic focus. Jun will then take us through our key operating and financial results for the fourth quarter and fiscal year ended December 31st, 2021. During the Q&A session, Lei will answer questions in Chinese, and I will help translate. Please kindly note that all translations provided are for reference purpose only. In case of any discrepancy between the original remarks and the translated version, statements in the original language should prevail. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Chen Lei. Lei, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chen, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our earnings call for the fourth quarter and the fiscal year of 2021. Let me first recap our results in Q4 and full year 2021. Our total revenue in the fourth quarter, excluding revenue from merchandise sales, was RMB 27.1 billion. This represents a year-on-year increase of 28%. Our annual active buyers reached 868.7 million for the 12 months ending on December 31st, with 733.4 million average quarterly MAU. Our GMV in 2021 was RMB 2,441 billion, representing 46% year-on-year growth. Total revenue for 2021, excluding revenue from merchandise sales, was RMB 86.7 billion, representing 61% growth year-on-year. 2021 was a year of transition for Pinduoduo. Over the course of the year, during which I took over the role of chairman, we shifted our priority from sales and marketing toward research and development. I'm glad to see that this shift is well on track. It will lay a solid foundation for us over the long run. We are grateful for our users' continued trust and support. To keep up with the evolving and increasingly multi-dimensional preferences, we constantly ask ourselves how we can serve them better. As a team with engineering background, our focus has always been to use technology to benefit all. We were fortunate to be early in identifying opportunities to contribute to and create value in agriculture. Agriculture is a sector that touches everyone's daily life, yet has low levels of digitalization. Since Pinduoduo's establishment in 2015, we have been facilitating agricultural modernization and digital inclusion. An efficient, resilient, sustainable, and vibrant agricultural sector benefits all stakeholders stakeholders in the value chain, and we remain focused on our goal. In 2021, we deepened our agricultural digital inclusion efforts in various ways, and they include: 1, helping farmers to expand their access to the market; 2, advancing the use of smart agriculture; and 3, encouraging and enable more young and tech-savvy talent into the agricultural sector. And now, let me elaborate. At the downstream, we continue to bring farmers into the digital economy by expanding their market access. We are working hard to build a platform that effectively matches consumer demand with agricultural productions across the country. This enables farmers to ship their fresh and perishable agri-food products directly to consumers, bypassing layers of distribution to deliver in a shorter time frame. The result is higher income for farmers, lower price for consumers, and the fresher produced consumers who receive. Our platform has opened up a market of nearly 870 million users to farmers and agri-producers in China directly. We have also provided them with various tools to promote their unique agricultural produce. One commitment that we have is our zero commission policy on agricultural products. We waive sales commissions and proactively gain more exposure for agricultural products. We plan to continue this zero commission policy on agricultural products. We aim to create a virtuous cycle like what we have done for SMEs in the past, in which farmers earn more while consumers get fresher and more affordable produce. To amplify its effectiveness, we launched numerous promotional events. In 2021, we worked with various regions to create a series of agri-focused shopping festivals that introduce consumers across China to different regional specialties. We also collaborated with key partners, such as CCTV, to launch live streaming events to promote China's agricultural heritage. This event not only enhanced user awareness and appreciation of local specialties, enable farmers to directly talk to consumers, understand consumers' preference better, which helps them in brand building and production upgrades for quality agricultural produce. For instance, we initiated an orange festival to promote high-quality orange specialties from 7 major orange produce areas across the country, bringing regional orange varieties to consumers nationwide. Benefiting from rising order volumes on our platform, local orange farmers and agri-merchants in Hunan province witnessed a large increase in sales. This increase in sales not only improved farmers' living standards, but also gave them confidence to invest into the future. Many of them reinvested their profits into developing better products, including in sorting machines and packaging design. Moving upstream, we are advancing the adoption of agricultural technology to help growers improve their productivity. A few practical and affordable technologies came out of the inaugural Smart Agriculture competition last year, including automated crop monitoring, program dynamic adjustment for changing climate conditions, and irrigation. We have several teams commercialize these technology solutions. Today, these solutions have been applied in major strawberry growing regions across China, such as Liaoning, Anhui, and Yunnan provinces. they have helped traditional growers more than double their management capacity. Such progress is inspiring and valuable to the entire industry. We regularly organize knowledge-sharing sessions to encourage the adoption of technology in this sector. Earlier this month, we jointly hosted a sharing section with FAO China on harnessing smart agriculture to boost food production and security. Representatives from FAO, China Agricultural University, Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences, Pinduoduo, and the finalists of the Smart Agriculture competition presented their insights at a webinar. We are honored to work closely with world-class partners in the agri-food sector, such as China Agricultural University, Zhejiang University, UNFAO, Singapore A-Star, and Wageningen University. And we look forward to collaborating with more like-minded organizations and individuals in the future. Another important prong of Pinduoduo's agricultural strategy focuses on encouraging and enabling more young and tech-savvy talent into the agricultural sector. We are glad to see more and more young agricultural entrepreneurs choosing to start their businesses with Pinduoduo. As at end October 2021, over 126,000 young farming professionals born after 1995 has joined the Pinduoduo platform, up from 85,700 in 2020 and 29,700 in 2019. Most of these young entrepreneurs are well educated. They are digital natives who grew up with mobile technology. Therefore, they are used to buying things online and using innovations like live streaming. At the same time, many of them are motivated by the desire to contribute to their rural communities. To upskill them, we have offered dedicated training programs on necessary know-how to operate their e-commerce businesses. We will devote more resources to support them, as we believe they will play a key role in facilitating agricultural modernization and rural vitalization. Looking back on our efforts in agriculture, we are happy with the positive impact that we have generated. But we have only scratched the surface in the field of technology advancement and digital inclusion in agriculture. Therefore, we are stepping up our investment in this sector as a long-term commitment. The focus of our long-term vision may not always translate into near-term results, but we will be patient as we do our part to contribute to agricultural modernization. As mentioned last year, I'm personally overseeing our 10 billion agriculture initiative, which aims to facilitate the advancement of agri-tech, promote digital inclusion, and provide agri-tech talent with greater motivation and sense of achievement. Profits from this quarter will continue to be allocated to this initiative. Lastly, as a platform that serves over 868 million consumers, we are also shouldering more social responsibility. In July, we rapidly responded to help with flood relief efforts in Henan, making donations and launching a portal to support emergency relief distribution. In October, we did the same to carry out emergency disaster relief and post-disaster construction work in Shanxi. In December, we contributed towards relief efforts in Xi'an and work with the local government to maintain necessary provisions as they fought a COVID-19 outbreak. To support the rural communities, we launched Pinduoduo Reading Month. Today, we have donated carefully selected storybooks to rural communities around the country and organized reading programs. We hope that these efforts will broaden the horizon of the youth and contribute to a better future to their community. As we step into another year, we remain laser focused on our goals and will continue to do our best to serve all our stakeholders. And I would like to thank you all in advance for your continued support. And now, let me pass the time to Jun. Jun has been with us since 2017 and has been recently promoted to VP of Finance as part of our plan to groom more young generation leaders. And Jun, please.
Thank you, Lei. Hello, everyone. Nice meeting you here. Let me first walk you through our operating results for the fourth quarter and fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. Our annual active buyers for the 12 months ending December 31st, 2021 was 868.7 million. This is an increase of 80.3 million from end 2020, or 1.4 million from the 12 months ending September 30th, 2021. In Q4, we observed a quarter-over-quarter decline of the MAU. Average MAU in Q4 was 733.4 million. This is a 13.5 million increase from the same quarter in 2020, or an 8.1 million decline from Q3 2021. At our current scale, we are approaching the limits in terms of user number and do not see it as a meaningful driver of future growth. To us, it is more important to focus on meeting our existing users' evolving needs and to serve them in the best way that we can. Our GMV for the last 12 months ending December 31st, 2021 was RMB 2,441 billion, an increase of 46% compared to 2020. Average annual spending per active buyer for the last 12 months ending December 31st, 2021, which is the result of GMV divided by the number of active buyers over the same period, increased 33% year-over-year to RMB 2,810. We are encouraged by their growing trust and are committed to serve them better. Last year, our platform generated a total of 61 billion orders, an increase of 59% from a year ago. There has been a significant increase in agriculture orders on our platform. In line with that step-up focus and resources on the sector, as average order value for agricultural products is lower, this resulted in a decrease in AOV over the same period. Our AOV came down 8% to RMB 40 in 2021 as compared to RMB 44 in 2020, while average number of orders per active buyer was 70 in 2021, an increase of 45% from 2020. We are glad to see that our investment in agriculture is addressing our users' real needs. We plan to deepen our efforts in agriculture. Next, I will go through our financial performance in the quarter ended December 31st, 2021. In terms of P&L, our total revenue in the quarter was RMB 27.2 billion, up 3% from RMB 26.5 billion in the same quarter of 2020. This was mainly driven by an increase in revenues from online marketing services and revenue from transaction services, offset by a decrease in revenue from 1P trials. Excluding revenue from our 1P trials, our total revenue was RMB 27.1 billion in Q4 2021, up 28% from RMB 21.2 billion in the same quarter of 2020. Revenue from online marketing services and others were RMB 22.4 billion this quarter, up 90% compared to the same period of 2020. This was primarily due to increase in merchant activities, a testament of our platform's capability to help them reach their target customers effectively and efficiently. Our transaction services revenue this quarter were 4.7 billion, up 108% compared with the same period of 2020. The increase in our transaction services revenues was due to, first, the increase in total transaction processing fees as a result of higher GMV. Second, more diversified services that we provide to merchants, such as fulfillment services. Moving on to cost and expenses. Our total cost of revenue decreased from RMB 11.5 billion in Q4 2020 to RMB 6.5 billion this quarter. The decrease came mainly from the reduction of 1P trial and decreased server costs due to a one-off rebate, offset by increased fulfillment fees. Total operating expenses this quarter were RMB 13.8 billion, compared with RMB 17.1 billion in the same quarter of 2020. On non-GAAP basis, our total operating expenses as a percentage of revenue, excluding 1P, has been declined from 94% to 76% to 45% for Q4 of 2019, 2020, and 2021 respectively. As we observed slower user and top-line growth, we proactively controlled our expenses. This resulted in lower operating expenses in the quarter. As we face more competition from existing and new players, we expect relevant expense items to increase in the future. Looking into specific expense items, our non-GAAP sales and marketing expenses this quarter are 10.8 billion, down 25% versus the same quarter of 2020. As we continue to shift away from our previous focus on sales and marketing. On top of this, as I mentioned, we further controlled our expenses in the face of slower user and revenue growth. As a result, on a non-GAAP basis, our sales and marketing expenses as a percentage of our revenues in this quarter was 40%, compared with 84% and 54% for the same quarter in 2019 and in 2020. Our non-GAAP general and administrative expenses were RMB 195.8 million, compared with RMB 153.1 million in the same quarter of 2020. Our non-GAAP research and development expenses were 1.3 billion, a decline of 16% from RMB 1.6 billion in the same quarter of 2020. The decrease in non-GAAP R&D expenses was due to a one-off rebate from one of our service providers. If we take out the impact of this rebate, R&D expenses will have risen. We do not expect the rebate to recur. As a result, operating profit for the quarter was RMB 6.9 billion, on a GAAP basis, compared with operating loss of RMB 2 billion in the same quarter of 2020. Non-GAAP operating profit was RMB 8.4 billion, compared with operating loss of RMB 1.1 billion in the same quarter of 2020. Net income attributable to ordinary shareholders was RMB 6.6 billion, compared with a net loss of RMB 1.4 billion in the same quarter of 2020. Basic earnings per ADS was RMB 5.26, and the diluted earnings per ADS was RMB 4.66, compared with basic and diluted net loss per ADS of RMB 1.13 and the same quarter of 2020. Non-GAAP net income attributable to ordinary shareholders was RMB 8.4 billion, compared with a net loss of RMB 184.5 million in the same quarter last year. Non-GAAP diluted earnings per ADS was RMB 5.88, compared with non-GAAP diluted net loss per ADS of RMB 0.15 in the same quarter of 2020. To conclude, profitability in the past quarter was mainly attributed to, first, controlled spending in the face of slow growth, and second, reduction of costs and expenses due to a one-off rebate. We expect profits to fluctuate as we continue to invest in the agriculture space, including agricultural technology. As I mentioned in previous quarters, we are also facing more competition. Therefore, we do not expect the profitability in Q4 to serve as a benchmark for the following quarters. Similar to previous quarters, profits from this quarter will be allocated to the 10 billion agriculture initiative. That completes the profit and the loss statements for the fourth quarter 2021. Our net cash flow provided by operating activities was RMB 16.4 billion, compared with RMB 14.9 billion in the same quarter of 2020. As of December 31st, 2021, the company had RMB 92.9 billion in cash equivalents, and short-term investments. With that, I conclude my prepared remarks.
Thank you, Jun. Next, we will move on to the Q&A session. For today's Q&A session, Lei and Jun will take questions from analysts on the line. We could take a maximum 2 questions per analyst. Lei will answer questions in Chinese, and I will help translate Lei's remark for easier reference. Operator, we may now take questions on the line.
As a reminder, to ask a question, you will need to press star 1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Our first question is from Thomas Chong with Jefferies. Your line is open.
晚上好，谢谢管理层接受我的提问。我第一个问题是想问一下，对宏观经济的不确定性对消费者还有我们所产生的影响，在未来可以分享一下我们的看法。第二个问题是关于我们100亿龙元的投入的进度对财务的影响，还有今年的 KPI， 还有就是未来我们会否加大投资。Thanks management for taking my questions. My first question is more about the macro uncertainties that we are facing. How should we think about the impact to the consumers as well as to Pinduoduo? And my second question is about our 10 billion RMB agriculture initiatives. Can management comment about the progress so far, the P&L impact, this year KPI, as well as our thoughts if there will be a step up in investment going forward? Thank you.
那谢谢托马斯的你的问题哈，那我来回答一下哈，就是首先你问的是一个就是这个宏观经济的这样一个问题呢，那其实呢，我们内部呢其实看的更多呢其实是说在哪些领域，在我们的能力范围之内可以通过技术那么进行改善，那么我们前面一直讲到，那我们现在看到的一个很大的领域呢，其实就是农业领域。
Thank you, Thomas, for your question. And let me take your questions. You ask about macroeconomy. Well, for us, we always look internally and see what areas we can improve through technology. And for us, a big area is agriculture.
那么在农业领域呢，其实这个改善呢，在很多方面的，从不同的角度都可以去做很多事情。比如在生产端呢，我们可以通过这个农业科技呢，提升产能，缓解对这个环境的压力，也能让那个农户呢，获得更高更稳定的收入。那么呢，在消费端呢，我们可以通过我们的这个鼓励让消费者呢吃到更新鲜、更实惠的农副产品，同时呢减少浪费。
So there are many aspects and areas in agriculture that one can improve. In production, we can increase yield, reduce the environmental impact, and also help farmers get higher and stable income. In terms of consumption, through our efforts, we can provide consumers with fresher and more affordable agricultural produce and reduce waste at the same time.
那另外一个呢，也是我们比较感兴趣在流通的方面呢，我们是可以通过这个技术呢，提升农产品的流通效率，完善呢农村的这个物流体系。
In addition, another area of interest for us is in distribution. We can use technology to improve the distribution efficiency of agricultural produce and also strengthen the rural logistics system.
就是在这个农业这样一个这么基础的行业呢，我们就可以看到呢这么多的机会。我觉得这也反映了我们对这个市场和未来的发展呢，应该说是充满信心的。
In the agriculture sector alone, which is so fundamental and crucial, we see so many opportunities. This reflects that we remain confident about the potential of industry and future development.
但是呢，这个农业的投入呢是需要一个时间过程的。那么呢，因此呢，我们也是非常的需要有耐心吧。
But investment in agriculture take time, and the process is gradual. So we have to be very patient in the process.
那么这个就我觉得是比较自然的，就引到了你问的第二个问题，是有关这个百亿农研。这个百亿农的专项呢，是我们在去年Q2业绩会的时候公布的。
And with that, this naturally brings us to your next question on our 10 billion agri initiative. We announced the 10 billion agri initiative in Q2 last year.
那么呢，这个百亿农研呢，当时我们也说到哈，这个是不是以这个商业价值或者盈利为目的？那么其实呢，它主要是指在面向农业以及乡村的重大需求呢，就是在投资方面呢，我们希望是说这个百亿农的专项呢，能够致力于这个推动农业科技的进步，科技的普惠，以及呢提升这个农业科技工作者和劳动者的前进动力和获得感，这些是我们百亿农的目标。
And For this initiative, profitability or commercial value is not the aim. We hope that this initiative can address the critical needs in the agriculture sector and rural areas. As for where we would put our investment in, I hope this initiative can facilitate the advancement of agri-tech, promote digital inclusion, and also give more motivation and a sense of achievement to agri-talents and workers.
就是我们希望100亿元项目呢，能够最大化的这个推动农业科技的进步以及普惠哈。那我们一直也在非常谨慎的斟酌和评估各种项目的推荐和建议，也在结合我们在农业领域呢积累的经验，以及我们这个团队的这种技术背景来衡量项目。
We really hope the 10 billion agri initiative can maximize its potential and impact in the advancement of agri-tech and digital inclusion. Therefore, we are diligently evaluating different proposals and projects, and also take into account of our and make those evaluations based upon our past experiences in agriculture, as well as our technical background.
那这里呢，其实我可以举几个例子给大家分享一下我们现在这个在关注的领域。
Here I can also share some examples of our focus areas.
那有一个呢，就是刚才我也说到了，就是如何通过科技的手段提升这个流通的效率。那么如何呢，能在农产品物流科技上呢，实现这个降低运输时间，减少对环境的影响，以及呢，如何让这高科技呢，在农业生产上呢，就不仅仅能够这个提升效率，同时也能够提升这个农产品的品质。
Some examples, some of which I have mentioned, include that how to improve distribution efficiency through technology, how to reduce the transportation time, as well as reduce the environmental impact with logistic technology, and also how to use technology in production to improve the efficiency as well as quality.
那么如何用这个技术赋能这个就是农业这个行业链条上的就多个环节，这是一个呢这个长期的需要耐心付出的这样一个工程。那我们目前呢仍然处于这个过程的早期，那也希望大家能够多一些耐心。那随着我们的投入呢，我们也会和大家一起呢分享这个更多的有关100亿农业的这个进展。希望这些信息呢能够回答到你的这个提问。
To use technology to enable different links along the agriculture value chain is really a long-term project that requires long-term dedication and patience. We are still in the early days of this and hope everybody can have more patience. As we invest, we also look forward to share with you our progress on the 10 billion agri initiative, and hope what I have said have addressed your questions.
谢谢。
Operator, we may take questions from the next analyst online.
Our next question comes from Yang Bei with CICC. Your line is open.
好，谢谢管理层。我第一个问题是有关行业的竞争啊。我们知道公司一直都是比较关注自己为用户提供的这个价值，而不太就是考虑外部的竞争对手。所以能不能从这个角度展开为我们讲一下接下来我们都是认为在哪些方面的一个投入和完善可以帮公司获得一个更好的竞争力。然后我第二个问题呢，想问我们的品牌化 因为从过去来看的话，性价比的定位呢是我们平台的优势，但到了一定的这个阶段后呢，好像性价比它似乎成为了这个品牌化路上的一种障碍，想问一下管理层怎么去看待我们未来的品牌化的这个战略？Thank you management for taking my question. My first question is regarding to the future competitive landscape. I noticed that Pinduoduo always focus more on the value to consumers instead of pressure from competitors. So from your perspective, what is needed or what kind of improvement should be emphasized for the company to make the cut? And my second question is regarding to your branding strategy. For the past 6 years, Pinduoduo was very distinguished from other competitors, especially for your value for money merchandise. However, when it comes to branding, it seems that the past advantage is kind of becoming the bottleneck. So I'd like to know your future strategy, how to efficiently help brand business in Pinduoduo's platform. Thank you.
谢谢白牙谢谢呢这个你的问题，我这里呢也做一下解答吧。就首先有关于竞争那我觉得是说拼多多呢从创立的第一天开始呢就一直在处于一个竞争非常激烈的行业。那么呢中国的电商呢是一个很大的行业呢，而且呢也一直是一个激烈竞争的行业。
Thank you, Bai Yang, for your questions. I will share my views on those fronts. As for competition, since the day Pinduoduo was established, we are in this highly competitive space. And China e-commerce space is a huge industry, and it has always been highly competitive.
那我们现在呢看到呢更多的大平台进入了电商这个领域。那么他们呢为消费者呢提供了不同的选择。那我觉得就随着这个技术的升级，那么消费者的需求呢也必然会做进一步的迭代。那我们预计呢还会不断的有新的形式和平台企业那么加入到这个电商行业。
We now see more large platforms entering e-commerce, and they provide different options to consumers. As technology continues to upgrade, consumers' needs will also continue to evolve, and we expect more engagement formats will emerge and more platform companies will join e-commerce.
那么正如呢你在这个问题里面提到的就的确我们内部觉得呢我们更应该关注的是用户就是我们能否就是本分的这个服务好用户，那么呢能够给用户呢带来不同的这种多实惠多乐趣的这种购物体验。那么这个呢是我们这家企业的本分。那我们的确呢不会过多的去关注竞争的对手和事态。
As you have mentioned in the question, internally, we would focus on users and whether we are serving their needs well. So we target to offer users a unique, more savings, more fun, shopping experience. This is our company's benefit. Indeed, we do not focus too much on competition.
但是呢，在过去一段时间里面呢，那我认为呢，我们在了解以及呢跟进用户的行为和需求变化这些方面呢，是有很大的可以改进的空间的。应该承认呢，很多竞争对手呢在很多方面呢，做得比我们好。那这个呢是我们需要向他们学习的。
But with that said, I think over the past period of time, in terms of understanding and catching up with the rapidly changing user needs and addressing their needs effectively and efficiently, there is still plenty of room for us to improve. Admittedly, many of our competitors have done a better job in some of these aspects, and we need to learn from them.
那么尤其是在这种竞争加剧的环境下呢，我们需要就是从自身去找原因，提升自身的服务，那么去提高用户的满意度，这个是我们希望去做的。那我在几个季度前也提到了，是说这个拼多多不可能一直完美的做到最好。那么呢，在这个调整团队和方向，过去的1年呢，我们也难免会放慢一些步伐吧。这也都是一个公司成长的过程。
Especially under intensified competition, we still need to look into ourselves on how to do better, improve our services, and raise our user satisfaction. I also mentioned a few quarters ago that Pinduoduo cannot always be perfect or be the best, and we will inevitably slow down as we go through transitions in leadership and when we make adjustments. But these are all part of a company's development.
但是另外一方面呢，我们现在呢也选择了对这个农业进行更多的投入。那这个其实是不同于这个纯的这个线上的互联网技术。那在这个领域内部呢，其实是需要我们具有更加的耐心。
In addition, we have chosen to invest in agriculture, and this is different from a pure internet technology. In this sector, we need to be more patient with our investment due to its nature.
那么呢，我们会这个继续的投入农业。那么，因为看到是说，其实相比于那些更早线上化有更高线上化率的品类或者方向来说，那么农业整体的这个线上化率仍然很低。那么其次呢，有很多现有履约体验下，用户的很多需求，并没有人能提供比较好的方案来满足。那么这也是为什么我们在坚定不移的投入农业，发展农业科技的核心技术，从而呢推进这个农业科技的普惠这样一个原因。
We will continue to invest in agriculture. We see that compared with categories that have been digitized earlier or categories that now have higher online penetration rate, the online penetration rate for agriculture is still very low. And on the existing fulfillment experience, many consumer needs have not been met. This is why we are investing in agriculture and without hesitation, as well as in core agricultural technology, with a goal to promote agri-tech and digital inclusion.
那么对于这个公司中长期的发展呢，我和我的团队呢都是充满信心的。当然了，这种信心呢，能否真实的转化为实际的成绩呢？我觉得这核心还是需要我们团队里面所有的人呢，一起这个坚持不懈的努力。
For our company's mid to long-term development outlook, my team and I are confident. At the same time, in order for our confidence to translate into actual results, we need dedication and hard work from everybody in our team.
那么关于你的这个第二个问题就是有关于品牌那我觉得是这样的，就是我们现在呢整个平台呢有8.7亿的用户，那么他们的需求呢应该说是越来越多样化。那我们也希望是说能够满足这个用户，那么在我们的平台上获得这个更好用户体验的这种期望品牌呢肯定是其中的一部分。
As for your next question on brand, our platform now has nearly 870 million users, and their needs is continuing to diversify. We hope to satisfy our users' needs and also give them a better shopping experience on our platform and in this process, brand is definitely one part that we need to work on.
但是品牌呢，来平台开店也并不是这种一蹴而就的，这是需要时间来磨合的。那么本质上呢，我觉得我们和品牌方最终的目标其实都是一致的，那么就是呢服务好消费者。那所以说呢，我们呢会耐心踏实的做好我们自己应该做也能够做到的事情。
However, store opening does not happen overnight. Instead, it takes time. Essentially, I believe that the ultimate goal for brands and for us are the same. That is to serve consumers well. So we will continue to be very patient and down to earth to do our parts within our capability and what we should do.
那么在整个这种合作的过程中呢，那我们也看到这样一个趋势，那就是先看到机遇，先选择相信的品牌呢，能获得较高的回报，那么从而呢带动和吸引呢更多的品牌来了解和尝试。
In this process of cooperation, we see a trend that brands who seize opportunities first would generate higher returns, and this would in turn attract more brands to learn more about us and seek collaboration.
那至于说更多的品牌是否会导致更高的 ARPU 或者 AOV， 就是客单订单价，这并不是我们看重的，我们还是要看我们用户的这个满意度。我们坚信呢，就是秉承这样普惠人为先更开放的理念，会对品牌对用户和我们平台呢都会有这种持续的正面的影响。
As for whether more brands would help increase the ARPU or AOV, that is not our core focus. Instead, we focus on user satisfaction. We will stick to our principles of benefit all, people first, and more open. And I believe this would have a positive impact on brands, users, as well as our platform.
好，谢谢。
Operator, we may now take question from next analyst.
Our next question comes from Joyce Ju with Bank of America. Your line is open.
Good evening, Lei, Jun, and Chen, and congrats on the solid quarter, and thanks for taking my questions. My first question is, first, we have seen continued leverage and decline in sales marketing expenses this quarter. Is there any specific reason this quarter which lead to the company to further control the sales marketing spending, or it's simply an improvement on your sales marketing ROI? And my second question is, PDD has delivered another quarter of strong profit. Could you share with us how management team are looking at the balance between profitability and growth? Are we seeing a pivot in strategic priority? Also, should investors expect how should we expect the future profitability trend, and how much was the one-time rebate that contribute to this quarter's higher profitability? 我来翻译一下我的问题。我的第一个问题是有关于我们在这个季度看到我们这个整体的这个利润率和效率整体的提升，然后我们的市场营销费用这个季度比例上面同比的一直在下降。想问一下，就是说这个季度我们看到的这个下降是因为我们有什么特殊的情况，或者是我们看到什么样特殊的趋势让我们对这个季度的市场投入做了一些这个控制，还是说是我们看到我们在这个市场投入上面的 ROI 有所提升？第二个问题的话是有关于这个季度我们看到我们的利润就是呈现了一个非常强的趋势 今年也已经第3个季度了，想要问一下，就是管理层怎么看待，就是说现在还有未来的话，在这个增长和这个利润率之间的这个平衡的关系？从我们的战略重点上来说，我们是不是现在有一个这个调整，就是说从以前的增长为先，到现在可能利润我们现在也会看得更重一些。然后我们投资人应该怎么样去考虑未来的这个利润率的趋势？还有刚刚我们也有提到这个季度有一个一次性的这个返用让我们这个季度的利润有所提升，想问一下大概是多大的贡献？非常感谢。
Thank you for your question, Joyce. Well, for sales and marketing expenses, you may see that we are actively changing our investment direction based on our past quarter's results. And during Q1 and to Q3 last year, our S&M expenses showed consecutive quarter-on-quarter decreases in terms of absolute dollar amount. And in Q4, our selling and marketing expenses decreased by 23% YOY, which represented 42% of revenues. Well, that is the lowest level in our history. We think it is a strategic shift. As Lei just mentioned, we need to focus and invest more in technological development, such as agri-tech. And meanwhile, with slowing growth rate, we are more cautious, so we have proactively controlled expenses. This is also why we're seeing higher profitability margin in the past quarter. And recent fluctuation in user activities and slowing revenue growth is a reflection that we are not doing well enough in terms of satisfying users' needs. So our team is working hard to explore how to meet user needs better and quicker. And we think this will require continued investment, and definitely expense will very likely increase in the future. For the second question, which is about profitability, well, I would like to point out that we're not changing our strategy to focus on profitability. This quarter's higher profit was due to a one-off rebate, as mentioned before, and controlled spending in the face of slower growth. To further elaborate, first, we are, as we encounter slow growth and are concurrently making adjustments, we are taking a cautious approach and proactively controlling our expenses. On top of this, portion of this quarter's profit was due to a cost and expense reduction related to a one-off rebate from our service provider. And this one-off rebate has resulted in a lower cost and expenses and higher profitability in the quarter. But if we strip out the one-off rebate, costs and expenses will be higher than the reporting number. And profitability in the quarter will also be lower. And second, as competition intensifies and user demand becomes more diversified, we do expect continuing investment in agriculture and core technology, which will result in higher expense line items, hence impacting profitability. And in your question, you also emphasized the rebates. Well, I think the one of the rebates, yes, it's in one of nature. It is based on a case-by-case negotiation with our service providers. We do not expect it will recur in the future. And for the amounts, due to confidentiality obligation with the service provider, we could not comment on the specific amounts. But what we can say is that it contributed a meaningful portion of this quarter's profit.
Great. However, we have time to take question from one more analyst.
Our last question comes from Kenneth Fong with Credit Suisse. Your line is open.
谢谢管理层接受我的提问。从收入端方面，我们看到这个 online marketing service revenue 相比上几个季度一起放缓到这个19%。其实我想知道背后是什么原因呢？是因为我们 GMV 放缓，费率政策的改变，还是我们提高了对中小企业的支持的力度的影响了？我们应该怎么想？往后第一个1Q 还有未来几个季度的增长，我自己翻译一下。Thank you management for taking my question. I have a question on the online market service revenue, which in Q4 record a slower growth rate of only 19% compared with the previous quarters. What's the reason behind? Is this mainly due to a slower GMV growth or due to the change in take rate policies? And have we carried out more merchant support measures in the recent quarter that also depress our take rate? And as an investor, how should we think about the growth outlook for first quarter and then the next 2 quarters? Thank you.
我先说一下，就是有关这个收入这个增长这样一个问题啊。那么后面君可以补充一下关于这个 take rate 的问题。那首先呢，我觉得现在你应该知道是说在拼多多现在这个规模上呢，保持长期不断的高速增长呢，应该是不现实的。
Kenneth, let me take your question and offer some insight on our revenue growth, and then Jun will supplement with some insights on take rate. First of all, for us to reach our current scale, investors should not expect continuous and ultra high growth.
就是未来的增长呢，我觉得还是需要有这个策略性和这个结构性的这种进化。那么因此呢，从这个去年开始呢，我们就在调整这种自身的这个发展策略，更加的关注这个农业和核心科技，那么追求一种长期的高质量的发展。那么这呢，我觉得难免会对增速呢会有所影响。
As for our future growth, I believe we need a strategic upgrade, and we also went through adjustment last year to focus more on agriculture and core technology in order to pursue a long-term high-quality development.
那比如说呢，我们会关注这个如何利用这种核心技术在农业中呢提高效率减少浪费，消费者买到更实惠更优质的农产品的同时呢帮助农户增产创收，享受到的这个农产品上行的好处。那我们相信呢，就对这种核心科技的关注和投入呢，是具有一种长远的价值的。
For example, we are looking into how to apply a core technology to improve the efficiency and reduce waste in agriculture, so that consumer can get affordable and high quality produce, and farmers at the same time can increase yield, enjoy improvement in income, and benefit from digital inclusion. We believe our focus in agriculture and investment in core technology creates long-term value.
那么呢，我们有幸呢，有这种8.7的消费者呢，就是选择相信这个拼多多，那么呢，如何持续的服务好我们现有的消费者，满足他们的这个日益变化的这个需求，让他们呢，对拼多多满意呢，这个是我们长期关注的。那么过去的1年呢，市场上 应该说是涌现出了很多不同的平台，以及呢这个电商模式。那刚才我也说到了，这些都是我们需要多学习的、多借鉴。那另外一方面也提醒了我们呢，其实呢内部从这个组织结构上呢，需要快速的迭代更多的年轻一代的管理层和核心团队。
We are fortunate to have nearly 870 million consumers who choose to believe in us. To serve our users well, address their constantly changing needs, and improve their satisfaction level is our long-term focus. So in the past year, we have seen many different platforms entering e-commerce, as well as new e-commerce formats. As I have said, we need to learn from them and also improve our services. It also serves as a good reminder for us to iterate and promote more young talent to our management team, and to keep up with the market development.
但这些业务的发展和调整呢，要带来效果是需要时间的。那么在这个过程中呢，我们的增速呢可能会受到一定的影响。那在我们整个公司发展的过程中呢，可以看到说业务周期那么和财报周期呢也并不是平滑对应的。那我也不建议，也建议投资者不要用这样一个季度的财报来预测下一个季度的指数。
For these adjustments to show results, it takes time, and in the process, our growth rate may be affected. As we develop, you may see that our business cycle and financial reporting cycle do not necessarily correspond smoothly to each other. So we do not recommend investors to use one quarter's of result to predict the next.
那君可以帮忙我回答一下，就是有关 take rate 的一些问题。
Now Jun may help supplement with some insights on take rate.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. As you mentioned about SME, so before I answer your question about the take rate, I would like to talk more about SME. As we started Pinduoduo with our corporate principles of benefit all, people first, and more open. In addition, agriculture is our core, and many agriculture merchants are SME merchants themselves. So we have always been looking for ways to support SME merchants and the products. And for take rate, well, it's not a metric that we focus on. In the past few quarters, as you already know, that we continue to implement the zero commission policy on agricultural products. We actively extend support to agriculture merchants and SME merchants, and offer more exposure and traffic to agricultural products. All of this would affect our take rates. That were what we have done and are still doing. And in the long run, our revenue and monetization depends on how much value we create. As our user experience and user mind share improve, our platform could provide more value to merchants, and merchants will find investments on our platform more attractive as a result. But I think if the percentage of our agriculture products that increases, the monetization rate is unlikely to grow at the same pace as our scale. But to us, serving our user well is our #1 priority. As mentioned before, agriculture is Pinduoduo's core and strategic direction, and we will stick to it.
Thank you. Very clear.
Thank you. I would now like to turn the call back over to Chen for closing remarks.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the conference call today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to our team. Thank you. Have a great day.
This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.